Business Focus with Kudzie, Sharara on the Champions League breakfast.
Always, we have Kudzie, Sharara in the studio. Good morning to you, Kudzie. How was your weekend into the holidays?
Good morning, Shumba. Good morning, everyone.
Okay, your holidays were great?
Yeah, my holidays were great. Oh, you guys were not here yesterday. Yeah, my holiday was great. Yeah.
So let's look at the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange trading update of Wednesday. That's the first day of the week after a holiday.
After holiday, it's going to be a short trading week. But it seems like it traded flat to positive. In fact, you could say it was mixed because you have your all share index up by 0.08%, but then you have your top 10 index losing 0.28%, and then the top 15 index down by 0.15%. Then you go to the medium cap index, which was up by 0.67%. So a mixed bag there. Let's look at the top risers and fallers. Seedco was the biggest mover there with a 14.46%, and Seedco is telling us that they are well stocked for the summer cropping season, especially in terms of maize. And then you also have OK Zimbabwe up by 5.69%. You have NMB putting on 5.48%, Econet adding 2.96%, and then Star Africa also positive by 2.04%. And then you have on the downside, Zim Papers is the biggest loser with a 16.52% drop, followed by First Bank, FBC, down by 14.64%. I saw yesterday, they recently acquired Standard Chartered, and I saw yesterday they are now rebranding that corner Nelson Mandela and Second Street branch.
Okay.
They are now rebranding it to FBC Crown. So it will be interesting how it pans out there.
Is it carrying the same colors as the FBC?
Yeah, almost you can actually if you don't look closely, you can actually think it's just the old.
Saka unokwanisa ere if I am an FBC account holder, ndokwanisa ere kutransacta kwese.
Tizoti Priscilla Sadomba azotitaurira izvozvo ndiye marketing manager anogona kungozoyongoti tsanangura riri kumbofamba sei.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
So that's she's the communications and public affairs.
Okay.
And then also Ariston putting on down rather by 1.71%. BAT dropping 1.16%, and then Wildell down by 0.65%. I think it's actually important for FBC maybe to come here and just explain how it's gonna work out with regards the new bank, what changes and what does not change. I think it's important. We should send them an invoice and they can come and explain.
And they're going to come.
Yeah, they should come. Because they were media reports to say they had lost some of their international clients. Because of the change of name, but not necessarily the change of name. Some say it was just because there are some institutions that want to say, okay, if there's a let's use an example of a bank that is no longer here. If there's a Barclays in Zimbabwe, I also in the UK, if I bank with Barclays in UK, I want to bank with Barclays all over the world.
So
or any other international bank. Yes. So as much as we say no, ma local banks sometimes you also need those international brands because you need that capital to be comfortable, and they're comfortable when they know Tichi. Whatever happens in Zimbabwe, I can have recourse to head office. And so we still have a few international banks that we have, and obviously international companies would be more comfortable with those international banks. It's a fact.
There are lots of clients. Is it because of the name or the shareholding?
No, it's not. It's not the name. It's not the shareholding, but it's just some international clients who are saying, I want to bank with an international bank.
Okay.
I do not, maybe not, it's not even here in Zimbabwe only. They say if I'm in Zambia, I don't want to bank with local banks in Zambia. I want to bank with an international bank. If I go to South Africa, I don't want to go to bank with local South African banks. I want an international bank, or wherever, whatever country, I want to bank with an international bank. So it's got nothing to do with them as such, but it's just someone saying, "Nini, do an international bank." Especially in Zimbabwe now, where we have had issues. Whether we have resolved them, I'm not sure, but we have had issues in the past where, for example, these are facts where you pay a local company that has got international shareholders pays a dividend, but the money doesn't go out because Tantinema challenges a foreign currency. Or you get supplies from your parent, international parent. You get supplies, raw materials. When you want to pay, you again we have got foreign currency issues, and then you fail to pay. Maligas debt at Toriko Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe. So someone no. So instead of me banking with these local banks, I would rather bank with an international bank. So what guys, on your unit in Zimbabwe, your subsidiary in Zimbabwe has failed to pay my money, and then you are paid at head office level. Also paid Rana Vega, the international bank and the branch and the unit in Zimbabwe. So those are just the realities. Yeah.
Let's look at some corporate news for this short working week.
Yeah, so this morning we have got Nampec Zimbabwe. It's in the paper with their trading update for the 9 months to June, or the third quarter to June. And they are into the packaging industry, and they have got different units in that packaging industry. They've got Hunyani Paper and Packaging, where they are saying that sales volumes for Hunyani, the division, were down by 2% on prior. That's for the third quarter. But when you look at it from and then sales volumes for the tobacco sector were 4% ahead of the same period last year. So despite the drop in tobacco volumes, they managed to make more sales in terms of the tobacco sector. And then they are also saying that the commercial carton volumes were 19% down. This is where they were really hit. The commercial carton volumes were down by 19%, and they are saying that this has been affected by competition with lower price offerings. So I'm not sure who is their competitor there. I know one of their senior executives is listening. I'm not sure who is your competitor there in terms of the carton volumes. Who is your competitor? And however, there's been an improvement in the horticulture volumes, and there's a continued focus on developing this market. I know. I remember when going to former OK Zimbabwe CEO Willard Zreva's farm, and I think there's another farm that I went to as well in terms of horticulture, and they were saying that they actually get their packaging to export their peas, to export some of their products. They actually import packaging material from South Africa. So I'm happy that, and I think this is what Unyani is talking about, to say they can now, there's been an improvement in the horticulture volumes, and there's continued focus on developing this market. We are exporting quite a number of horticulture products, be it avocado, be it there's this teaser, but one of the it's a fruit, like it's a teaser, but no, it's popular these days. It's been spoken about quite a lot, and Zimbabwe is improving quite a lot in terms of that. But it's okay. I'll let you know. But so these are horticulture products. They need packaging. They need my boxes so that they use. And Unyani is saying that they want to focus on that one. And then there is also my berries, but I can.
Macadamia.
Macadamia is another one. Blueberries.
Yeah, but normally traffic lights known as tengeswa.
Yeah. So those ones are. Yeah, but then I think for me, those that are really ripe. I feel those ones they don't taste nice for me. But actually, they are really nice. But they're loved by the market. In fact, every time that you talk to the Zimtrade CEO Alan Majuru, every time that he makes a presentation, he always reminds.
There's a soft spot for them.
He always reminds the audience that Zimbabwe's blueberries are the best in terms of taste. So yeah, but ari kurima zvakanyanya and you know, but haana kuchipa kurima kwacho futi. I remember saying at one of these farms where I went, and they were saying for just 1 hectare, I think you need about $300,000 US dollars.
And how much will you then get?
I'm sure zvodzora. I'm sure zvodzora, but yeah, blueberries ari kurimwa zvakutodaro muZimbabwe. So yeah.
But are they popular locally? Or they're for export?
Takumaona kama traffic lights matumaona ainawo. But mumaona kacho.
Pandonyanya umaona pa traffic light of Chiremba in Glenara.
I think
pipe ndo panonyanya utengeswa stereo.
Probably there's a blueberry farm nearby. I'm not sure. But yeah, so those are some of the packaging material that you then get from the likes of Unyan Packaging and Paper Packaging. And then they also have, I said they've got different units. They also have another one called Mega Pack, which deals in HDPE and closures. I think. Yeah. So those guys are saying in terms of volumes, we're 11% up. So this one is doing well. That's Mega Pack. And then they've got Conod Metal Box. Cans. Cans, I think, if I'm not mistaken. They're saying that volumes in the third quarter were 4% down on prior year. And then, however, metals volumes were 21% ahead of prior year due to raw material availability. And then plastics were 10% down. So it's actually a mixed report there, trading update from NAMPEC, Zimbabwe, which is listed on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange. This is the packaging industry. And I think for as long as we are also importing quite a number of our products, if you are importing food and beverages, it also means that volumes for packaging of similar products that are manufactured locally will also come down. Yesterday, when you were not here, we spoke about most of these. We were talking about Food World near Joiner City, which closed, and it has been replaced by mini shops. And we were talking about it, and I said I tweeted about it, and up to, right now I think there are about 90,000 views on that tweet, and people were discussing about it. What is the impact on the economy? But one thing that I also want to highlight is Kudzie, when you've got those there are pros and cons depending on how you are looking at it, pros and cons on that. But just think to the landlord. This is massive for this income. Particular landlord in terms of income, because they can charge more. Also to the city council, I think it's also licensing. Yes, I'm not sure whether there is the amount, the money you pay for a shop that is like 100 square meters, is it the same with the shop that is like 10 square meters in terms of the license? But imagine if all those shops are paying license to Harare City, then Harare City is smiling all the way to the bank because of all these licenses. But another thing, just before you come in, another thing that I also realized later on was to say, okay, most of these shops that are replacing, let's say in this case, Food World. If you look at Food World, the products that were being sold, you could say maybe let's assume it was 50-50 locally produced products and imported products. But now they've been replaced by these mini shops. And if you look at the kind of if it's clothing that is being sold there, it's almost like 100% imported. So this is now pressure on foreign currency because of the kind of business that we are doing, which depends almost 100% on imports, versus this one that was there but was probably 50 or even more in terms of local content. So now we have got these ones that have replaced them, and there's now pressure on foreign currency because they need to import. So these are some of the things that we should think about when we are discussing about some of these things.
So if about like a big supermarket turning into a mall. You said maybe for the city council it's an opportunity for them to revenue. But my shops because kuwanda kuri kuita ma mall aya zvima shops izvo. Is it a sign yekuti ma license vanhu vari kutora kutoreka license easily and people are doing their business, or it's a business that people have seen kuti unogona kutori operator even usina kana license yacho?
Yeah, I think we need to then talk to city council, because I think every shop that operates must operate with a shop license from the city council, and it must also operate mamwe requirements, regulatory requirements like an Azimra. They should also come in and the like. So I'm not sure what if Harare City what the survey is like in terms of these shopping licenses that are for all these mini shops that we are seeing in the CBD. I'm not sure. Maybe Harare City Council have got a better answer to say my license. My license. It should come up in their budget. I think they read their budget. It should show. Now, unless painima difference, kana small shop. Cannot buy that Mari shop in terms of license. Can I a bigger shop, buy that Maria Kawanda? I don't know Rango. But yeah.
So there's Facundo on WhatsApp who says that Kudzie, when is RBZ embarking on their mission to stop businesses from refusing and lying that their point of sale machines are not working, especially when paying with Zig? We are tired of being told the banks are offline, but if you go buy from big retail shops, banks are always online. It's high time we name and shame these shops. Sick and tired, Facundo.
Yeah, Facundo are right. Network. Ngatombori network watombori vachitombotsvaga chekuwanana kuno umwe anotongokuudza kuti munoma muna mapoint of sale machines. Zvakatodaro. Whether you want to pay in US or you want to pay in Zig, vanongokuti hamuna, because they know kuti vakada kuisa vakangomaisa vakati US chete pane problem. Saka vanotongoti hatina, but it's now law. Pane mutemo wakati every shop iri kuoperata must have a point of sale machine. I don't know now whether I don't know when it's going to be put into effect. When is it effective? I think it was with immediate effect to say every shop must have this point of sale machine. Maybe they will be given a grace period to buy these, to put in place the infrastructure that is needed. There's also, so that's from the RBZ point of view, point of sale machine, and then also from Zimra fiscalization of their operations as well.
Hanzi kudzai kudzi kuti ma blueberry akawanda pa George paruwa. Hanzi ndo pa vese vanozona vachitengesa ndo paari kubva.
Vari kubva neparuwa. I think that's the closest.
Maybe there is a farm close by.
Yeah, I also know Marondera. I think in Marondera ndokune one of the biggest farms as well. Rema blueberry.
Okay, let's okay. This one says my shops are but Darima licenses because they are way too high. License inspectors make more money because pavanosvika panongobatanidzwa ibasa vopiwa. Zvatopera.
Yeah, but then I think kunoda mines. You know dara tichaenda kumusha.
The inspector.
Kana inspector ngoenda kana buda mumsara buda mchuru.
Otomisa basa. Obasi of the pasango ipapo.
Pasango totanga kutocheka kuti munhu wese ane ticket here, you know. And it was efficient. I think pfungwa dzechitsotsi ne corruption dzanga sadzapo because it was efficient and kwanga kusina zvokuti conduct anozora chichimwe kuti sorry ndanda nazinomba ticket vanoitongoita zvinhu neorder. So I think there is need maybe for another arm that then follows up and say okay, to make sure that everyone apiwa ane shopping license. That is needed. I don't know how they are going to do it, but it's needed to make sure that we collect as much. But then kunoze imwe counter argument. I think also what is also important Rangu, as much as tichiti mamomo and imwe advantage zvayo iripo ndeyekuti you are taking people who are probably selling vari mabhute mota or pavements and but you have opened space for them, and now they can operate from a fixed location, which then Mtuli can come near sort of like a location tax where they just say come into the landlord and say iwewe sha unema tenancy ungaonipona tenant one now anema tenant 50 vanhu ivava vanofanira kucontribute a presumptive tax or whatever or location tax. Now iwewe landlord isusu tinongoya tongokaunta kuti vanhu 10 toda $30 per month or whatever amount, and landlord ndonofanira kuicollecta pavanobhadhara rent vobva vabhadhara neezimura.
You also need a remit.
You also need a remit. So you're like a tax collecting agent for Zimura. I think that is so. Saka tiri kubvisa vanhu mustreet tichivaisa tuma minimals totuta. Vanhu vacho vasikupera mustreet.
As the guys vemashop madiki ukavabvunza kuti mune swipe vanotoita kunge vachakuda kukurova. I shall spare the nationality of the people.
Yeah, so yeah, also that. Yeah, you know, kune mutemo wema anonzi reserved sector, if I'm not, if I'm not, I'm sure I got the name right. Reserved sector. Anonzi aya ma sectors aya haafanirwi kuoperatwa nemunhu asiri muZimbabwe. They must be operated by Zimbabweans. I know retail is one of them, but I don't know. I think it has never been enforced.
Retail includes matak shop.
It has never been enforced because doko katowanda vasiri mazimbo vakatowanda all nationalities vakawanda variko nationalities
vakawanda nationalities other than
Zimbabweans, but I think it's a reserved sector. There's another one I got to announce recently as well. Even my saloons and the like, they are supposed to be I think even in the if I'm not mistaken, I read it again in the National Budget Strategy paper at 2025 talking about these reserved sectors, but enforcement manch ndopanozoti zvakuenforce kwapabvaita kunge pari kuita chirusarura, but inyaya yekuti vanhu vanenge vasingaenforce mutemo but inenge yagara iripo. So I think that's an interesting area there.
Okay, just briefly, could see the regional and international markets, how are they performing?
Yeah, as we head for the SADC industrialization, it's just interesting to just also look at how their markets are performing. So that's the SADC summit. So we've got just the JS in South Africa up by 0.55%. You've got the Namibia Stock Exchange up by 0.1%. Botswana 0.01%. Zimbabwe, like we spoke about it. Malawi down by 1.68%. Mauritius up by 0.15%. Zambia, Lusaka Stock Exchange down by 0.03%. And then outside SADC, you've got the Rwanda Stock Exchange down by 0.01%. In Tanzania, it's positive, up by 0.3%. Tanzania is in SADC though. Kenya, Nairobi Stock Exchange up by 0.03%. Uganda 0.08% to the good. Egypt 0.8%. So look at all these markets. None of them is above 1%. They were all trading flat. I'm not sure why it's like that across the continent. All of them are trading sort of like flat to positive. And then in terms of currencies, the US dollar is firming against the Zambian kwacha. $1 will get you 26.25 Zambian kwacha. So your dollar buys you more in Zambia unless inflation is also rising. And then the Chinese $1 will get you 7.15 Chinese yuan. It will get you 0.77 British pound and 0.90 euros, and then 18.06 South African rand. So that's how things are looking like this morning.
All right, Kudzie, thank you so much for Business Focus for today. We appreciate, and just to wrap it off by reading a couple of messages that are coming through on our WhatsApp platform. Hanzi nyaya yemapoint of sale panotoda kuongororwa, hakuna shop isina, asi sure havasi kuda kutambira zig, saka vanoti havana mapoint of sale machines. Okay, another one says the inspectors, okay, it's gone. Okay, coming back onto the issue of your blueberries.
Rumors here, even on my WhatsApp.
And my blueberries are not taken up aside per road. My rejects.
My rejects, yeah, that's
there are 3 types: 1, export; 2, local; 3, rejects.
Yeah.
And Zakaibisa. It's a product that's so expensive to cultivate, but kumazu kuzomarasa manje zvinorwadza.
Ndakashaya kuti muromo wangu here kana kuti zvechirungu unoziva kuti pane zvimwe zvatakatanga kuchikatakura.
That's true, yeah.
Magrapes anga rechirungu tinacho. Mapiye taisawaziya mapiye aya. Mapiye.
Yeah. All right, thank you so much, Kudzie. We have to make way for the news at 8. Thanks for Business Focus for today.